We are here for Scott Brocious' Scott Brocious' Chains of Redemption in Ha 7 Halloween. Honey, you're still here. Oh my god. Just please. There's no color left. This is okay. So we have Halloween Ends, which I really loved, Till, which is really great, and Black Adam, which is fun. There's also The System. Now this comes to Blu-ray at the end of the month, but this looks pretty badass. I do like that. Why is that still here?
Oh yeah, I was gonna get one of those. Those are so versatile. Really nice. I like it. That's like the 50% of like that's the first one I always go to. I always hit that one first. Are you gonna get the? Hey, yeah. About a table. I'm working hard. Oh, crawling. Crawl towards me.
Prepping the
I'm not even getting in the way of this,
Oh, crawl, bitch, crawl.
Excellent.
You need to put that on Facebook.
Oh, I have a bill. Did you put it behind here? Have you seen the gaff tape, Scott? I think it was in the tote.
Where's the tote?
Right there.
Let's go into the theater real quick.
I just slid it in. I just threw it over the
Do 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 do. There's Tyler. Are there any people congregating out here? Look at that big light. Look at it. It's just pouring.
I'm ready.
Hello.
Hey, hello.
How are you two? Good. This is perfect. Hey. Good, how are you? You look so spiffy. Are you excited for Sonic 2? Well, that's a shame. You should be excited for the movie you're here to see. Shame on you. Chains of Redemption. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's very warm out too for a November evening. God, it's like 70. Anyway.
And the Kyle Man's here. Oh my God, it's an all-star cast.
I love it. That's so good.
I have found a wild Gappy. He has appeared outside. And there he is.
I read it's 6 o'clock. I was like,
Literally, no.
yeah. Well, I was like,
Coming out the rest of
Julie
the
pointed
night.
out, I was like,
You're gonna be coming up. Yeah, it'll be the.
Hello!
What do you think you're in for here tonight?
I am here for some redemption, some changing, and some. The original short film was called Burden, so I've been nicknaming it Chains of Birdemption,
Oh my god.
and that's how my brain works.
Chains of Birdemic?
I have actually never seen Birdemic.
You go.
I know. Terrible.
Bye.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much.
I'm parking that garage.
Chains of Redemption.
How's it going? All right, there you go.
That's awesome.
I heard the whispering in my ears. Nice, everybody's looking good. Excellent.
All right, that's family. These kids. Yeah, both Scott. Oh, Scott's
I can't even speak.
all these. Tim.
Let's all get in there.
Yeah, Tim.
Okay,
Just guys being dudes.
I just want a quick hug.
Just guys being dudes. Let's do it, guys.
You want me to record it? Okay.
Yeah. Do we have anybody else, or is
Oh, we got the original conductor over here.
it's time?
It's a little dark. Is that okay?
All right, you gotta squeeze in just a little bit. Come on.
Thank you.
Your white
So first of all, in 2019, and I'm going to say it again on the big screen shortly, we made a film called Chains of Burden for the Cleveland 48-Hour Film Festival. It was really like the first big film that I've ever made, and it was maybe the most miserable set that I've ever been on. Not because of the people.
Because of the director.
You know, it was maybe 120 degrees in the train car. It was absolutely, unbelievably miserable for everyone involved. It was a long day, and Jennifer, like the queen of the world, brought us popsicles. And I cannot tell you how important popsicles are.
She also helped Ron George stuff pigskins with bananas.
Yes, that's true. Yes. That's right. It was that enticing. But I want to just kind of pass the microphone down to everyone who is involved with it, and just I want you to reflect on that moment of making the film and where we're at right now.
So I've told Scott repeatedly, because we speak almost every day, sometimes twice a day. I think he's obsessed with me, but my wife's okay with it. So that was a grueling set. It is by far one of my favorite films that I've ever been in. I think it was amazingly shot. It's going to be in my heart forever. And the sweatiness that was put into that, to me, made the film. And people think actors, oh, they're just pampered and they don't put anything into it. We suffered, and we did, but we had a good time doing it. And I love every minute of it.
Yeah, like what Gabby said, it was miserable. The train car was hot. There were flies, just random flies, just everywhere. So, but because it's if you've ever worked with Scott, he runs a really fun set. And even though we had every reason to be miserable, none of us were. So, and that has a big thing to do with everybody up here and Scott and all the other people that are involved. So, despite all of the challenges, it came out pretty well. So
So this was my first time working with Scott and White Midnight. So working with everybody here on that particular set, and it was, like they said, the most grueling set you could be on. It was incredibly hot, But I do remember it was getting later in the day, and because it was so hot, we were sucking down the water it was our job. And I looked at it and I went, oh, we have one water bottle left. And I'm like, wait, where are we? Oh, Walmart is right over there. I'm not in anything, and I'm just hanging out. So I'm going to jump over to Walmart. And it was while I was shopping for water and a few other things that I went, popsicles.
Yeah, she was extremely popular at that moment.
Popsicles are the best idea. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I come back with popsicles. And yeah, I was everybody's favorite person for a minute. So it was a good time. And it caused me to decide to trust you when we decided to do Vile.
Yeah.
Which was a whole nother grueling experience.
Yes, it was.
For sure.
Yeah.
And thank you for the popsicles that brought us back down to earth. Everybody was cranky. Everybody was snappy. It was very hot.
You just moved back.
Yeah. I just moved back from Chicago. It was my first set, and it was.
It's I want to pull you back in. It's
gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna be able to breathe. I promise.
And there won't be any fun.
No, as soon as we finished that short, Scott knew that we wanted to turn it into a feature, and it was really exciting over the coming years to hear him talk about his ideas and how it was gonna, the full story was gonna be, and now you're gonna find out.
Well said, Tedworth.
That's Tedworth. Say, folks, this was truly, man, going back all the way to the short, we knew we were making something really fun. Like, when Padre presented me with the role, I was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool, because, you know, typically I'm the quirky, funny guy, and so to play something more mysterious, more spooky, more intimidating was super a thrill. But then, once seeing it actually put out onto the 48 stage, I was like, holy hell, we really made something. And now here, these years later, with the full production value, full resources, full cast and crew intact, we've really made something. So, thanks for being here tonight.
Run, George!
Real quick though too, I think this is my first 48 with you, Scott, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And after we got done with it, I believe I told my little brother Tim, you're gonna win Best Actor on this one. And I think I'm kind of like a Nosferatu. Because guess what? What's the guy's name? Nosferatu, Nostradamus, they're both fucking creepy old dudes, but I predicted it, and he deserved it. But is Riley Chase in the audience right now? So just so anyone knows, if you want to officially join this cult, and you want to get branded with a white midnight logo tattoo, that's the man right there. He's the man to go to. And here is our amazing FX guy.
Oh, it's just purple blood grabbing. It's my mic. It doesn't matter.
I was
Grab the mic, Ron.
I was so sad when he became the director of the 48 because I knew he couldn't be part of our films anymore because he's the best in the business. Nobody gets better. I'm going to hold the mic for him. And this is my Merciful Fate shirt that Ron was so generous to go down to Cincinnati because I couldn't make the concert. Our favorite band, King Diamond, Merciful Fate, and he got this for me. I love you,
Yeah. There was a huge accident on 271, came to a complete stop, so that's why I literally just got here.
So the reason why we're all standing up here, this is like the members of Chains of Burden who were part of that set, and that was like really one of the last 48s that you were able to do it. Well, we didn't.
Forbidden Chocolate.
Yeah. But you know, I remember when we talked about like, it's like, yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull an organ out of the guy's like stomach, and I was like, yeah, that's easy. So Ron, we're all standing up here because I wanted us to kind of reflect on where we started at with Chains of Burden and where we're kind of at now.
Well, that day I did 5 48s.
Yeah.
So I did 2 for Kinsley on Friday night, and then I did yours, I did Vern's, and I did Conrad's that year.
We're not mad at you.
Let's talk about this.
I'm just saying, that was a crazy day. That was a crazy day. That's all I'm saying. So my head was everywhere because it was hot. The camera batteries kept dying because it was hot. I don't know if it was because of that or because the car was haunted.
Yeah, the car was haunted.
But it was an extremely, probably one of the hardest films that we had to film because of the technical difficulties.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure too, Ron, you have the record for the most 48s in one.
Yeah, 5.
Right?
Yeah. I only did that because BJ was bragging about 4 acting in the first one. I did makeup in 5. So I joined the cult.
So on that note, I'm going to hand it over to my MC, and I think we're going to start filming a little bit.
All right.
First of all, give a big round of applause to everybody up here on this stage right now. This is, what you're going to watch is definitely one of the movies ever made. It does have actors. Will it win an award? Possibly. Can't tell you.
It's a secret.
It's going to be a cult classic.
Hey!
So I want to make it very clear. You're going to see trailers. You're going to see a director's introduction, which is actually going to brainwash you a little bit. So that's part of this technique. You're going to see the original 48 Chains of Burden play right before and then the feature presentation.
Nice.
After, we are going to bring everybody up here, the cast and crew. We're going to do a Q&A. After the Q&A, the after party is at Emerald next door. Emerald Isle Lounge next door.
Woo! Emerald.
Emerald.
So again, where is the after party at?
Next door.
Oh, it's at the Emerald Isle.
You guys better not forget when you're in the bathroom taking a piss, because I'll come in there and inspect it. Whatever I want to inspect. Anyway, please, everybody, enjoy Chains of Redemption. How about it, ladies and gentlemen? I personally, and this is not me under the effect of any Kool-Aid or anything, but this was a very, it was a very great movie. And I think everybody who was in the movie, everybody who worked on the movie, deserves a big round of applause. Before we do that, hold your fucking horses. Before we do that, I would like to first of all give it up for our writer, director, everything, Mr. Scott Brocious. I wouldn't be standing up here hosting it without his kindness and his warm heart and his big Tim Allen Santa Claus beard. I would now like to invite the entire cast and crew of this film up on stage. Get your asses on up here, honey.
Let's just try to fit up here the best we can. Snugly.
Carl, your phone is like super dim. How do you make it like brighter?
Just go with it.
Okay.
I will.
Damn, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to get really close and squeeze together.
Get on up here, everybody.
I'm sorry, Kyle. I can't get everyone in the phone.
That's okay, just stand across like I do.
Okay.
You're doing your best, sweetie.
But thank you. Hello, Mr. Conductor Man. Yes.
All right, yeah, just try to fit in the best you can. Ron George walking around here.
It's also dark.
Now he's
When
up
there's
here.
a light. When there's like a light that can go on.
Camera, he's in the shot.
First off, give it up for these guys. Come on.
Woo!
Scott, do you want to have them introduce themselves first, or do?
Yeah, I'm gonna hand it down. So I'll start off. My name is Scott Brocious. I'm the director, writer, whatever person who did this film. I'm gonna give it to. I'm gonna hold it for Ron because he's holding the camera.
Ron George, special effects makeup.
Ron was in the shot.
James Gabby Burney, Daniel Lemire. Put my dog down. I made you cry. Thank you. I did my job.
Hello guys, I'm Jenna Cooper. I'm also a special effects makeup artist.
Seamus Leahy, amongst other things, a script supervisor, and I drove one of the cop cars at one point.
Andrew Chapman, I stabbed the guy with a screwdriver.
Hi, I'm John Fessick. I was given the esteemed position of courtroom doorman.
I'm Cassandra Fear. I own Fear's Confections, which was one of the locations, and I play a really good shop owner.
I'm Ted, or Theodore Novotny, and I ran some of the audio on set and did the score.
Woo!
I'm Grace Favaro. I played Madalena Demir. Hi, I'm Lucy Turner. I played Diora and drowned myself in a bathtub. Hi, I'm Katie Tillery, and I screamed at her in a car.
Hi, I'm Christian Podolsky, and I was one of the students in the cafeteria.
Hi, I'm Barbie Siegel, and I was juror number 8.
Hello, Ryan Rip Farley, and I was the chain man who murdered the tough guy and had the nails in my head.
First scene in the film.
First scene
Yeah,
in the
we
film.
filmed.
I'm Anchor Camillo's first AD and sound.
Jennifer Anderson, I was the judge.
Andrew Oliver helped out on crew, pointed bounce at people.
Bernard Adams, I was chainman number 1.
Bruno Tadalovic, creepy pouring guy.
It's Tim.
Time, the conductor, Tim Hale.
Jamal Smith, chamber number 2. I punched the cantankerous lawyer in the face.
Jackson White. I was one of the guys in the courtroom scene.
Mary Factor, Catherine the lawyer, am dedicated to all the moron, asshat, douchebags.
Elijah Owens, guy who got dragged out of a car.
Quentin Owens, the bullet head guy that dragged this guy out.
Bob Morey, I was one of the court bailiff security.
Tammy Carb, I was part of the courtroom. Jerry Wiley, I was one of the prosecuting attorneys.
And Gerardo, I was Dr. Hyup, which translates to animal doctor. No animals were seriously harmed in the making of this film.
But they did get sleepy.
Hold on, we got 2 more.
And Eli, can you give him the mic for a second?
Hello, I was a music director. I worked with Ted on his awesome score. Yes, yeah, I was the guy who bought the dark roast coffee in the shop.
Pretentious. Carlos Flurferberg.
Yes, which fun fact is my D&D name.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is have a little Q&A. We won't go too long because we have an after party where? At the Emerald Isle, right next door. So, who has a question? I'll come right to you. Not all at once.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
So I heard, you know, that during the original short film that it was really painful shooting because it was so hot. And I'm just wondering if it was different. If it was did you shoot at a different time of the year?
Who wants the mic?
It was hot.
Blazingly hot.
No, let's give it to the person who almost died on set.
Oh.
110 degrees, no air conditioning, no electric, and couldn't have the windows open because we were shooting and there were noises. So I was ready to drop dead before we finished.
I'm gonna elaborate on that. So like we're doing the last scene right before she puffs out, and if you notice her energy level is a little bit lower right before she leaves. We were kind of afraid that she was really gonna leave.
Like Lucy wants to talk.
I have a comment.
All right.
I would actually like to thank Mary personally, who brought sandwiches and
Yeah.
water. Thank God, like shout out to her. I'm not kidding. It wasn't that bad as the stories I've heard, but it was fucking hot, and she brought sandwiches, and I'm still thankful to this day for her. Thank you.
Thank you for sandwiches. Anyone else on that one?
I can say something.
I got a conductor who had to wear a 3-piece suit in 110 degrees.
And it was wool, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a wool, polyester. It was hot. But in this iteration of the suit, Padre went to the nines to get everything that was period accurate, so all the layers, all the fancy buttons that are a lot more intricate than your average J. Ferrar suit buttons. All these trinkets and trackets and all kinds of things, and it was very hot. And it was the day that I didn't remember my lines very well, so everybody was in there a lot longer than they needed to be, and we just suffered. And that hat was honestly the hottest thing, though. That hat was just like, I'd take it off and I was like, shh. So it was fun, though.
Hey, Scott, any history of that? Any history of that train car we shot in?
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna need to. So there's the history of that train car. But one thing I want to add to him, the reason why he had a hard time with his lines is like we had, I think it was 17 pages of script, and then we shot in like 9.5 hours, which is like, it's a challenge, to say the least. So, and he had monologues. So, Tim, you did great.
Oh, thanks.
So,
Seamus wanted to say something. Yeah.
oh, okay. So Scott Morrison, our gaffer, like had a good point. So the train car that we use for this one is obviously different than the one we use for Chains of Burden, and it is nicknamed the Death Car. And the short story is, I think it's like 80-some people were boiled alive. So a train car was like up next to a locomotive, and the steam engine vented it, popped sealed, and then it vented all of it into the windows down train car and basically steam boiled everyone alive. So that is the train car that we're in, and like we all walk in, and I know the story, and I'm not trying to advertise to scare anyone. Scott's like, ooh, this place feels off. And I'm like, I think it's fine.
We do have another question over here.
This actually goes into my question. I was wondering where the train was located, and was this entire film filmed in Cleveland?
Yeah, so this is at the Midwest Railway Preservation Society. It's kind of near the Steelyard Commons, and it is kind of a place where you can go to. They'll do tours for you, and they are always taking donations. But it is, they call it a living museum. They are constantly working on rebuilding and kind of repurposing like 100 to 150-year-old trains and train cars. Amazing place. You should check it out.
We have someone up here. Hold on, I'm fat.
What was the hardest part to get right once you filmed it all for editing?
I'm going to give this to Seamus because Seamus was one of our amazing people who helped me kind of look at the the edit of the film, and he helped me just give me suggestions. Dustin Lee, several other people did, but Dustin's not up here.
Well, funny story. If you'll recall the scene involving Jared and Quentin and Keith, filmed just on Scott's block over in Rocky River, Ohio. Our shooting that day was cut short by a torrential downpour, and the signs were there all day. It was cloud coverage all leading up to it, so we were kind of out of luck because we had sizable portion of the scene left to shoot. So Scott and Jared and co went back another day, did it, except this time it was bright and sunny. So it leads to a problem of at the same time, one side of the conversation's hot in the sun and the other side is in the overcast rain. I don't know how he did it, but somehow he made it look like they were shot on the same day. So hats off.
Thank you. So much of a big film like this, you have to trust and rely on everyone, whether they have a role where they're on screen for 1 second or they're not on screen at all. He was actually the police car driver behind Jared in the fight sequence when he's wiping the knife off, and then you see the cop car behind him. He is
Officer Malarkey.
Officer Malarkey, because as the director, I get to choose the names in the credits. Just like we have Dingo the Good Samaritan. Anyway, but I reach out to like Gabby, Seamus, I mean many people on stage here, just to say, hey, how does this film look? Does the pacing feel right? Does the edit feel right? And if I'm going to ask advice, I'm going to take their advice, at least the best that I can. So every film is a team project, and whether you're in it for a second or you're not in it at all, you matter.
Hey, Scott, if I may.
Yep.
Just real quick, and I know everyone has family, everyone has significant others. Scott and I talk at least once a day, if not twice a day.
Only about Wordle.
Every day. Scott just likes to make fun of me and Eli about Wordle because we're super geniuses.
He's eventually going to play Wordle. We know this.
But, so much behind the scenes gets left behind, and this is kind of my tradition for the movies. My part in it, and I know Scott's for sure, you know, we're both dads. We have full-time jobs. We have families to take care of, and I know everybody else does too, but we take so much time away from them to do what we love, and we can't do this, and everyone's heard it, but you're gonna always hear from me. Behind every good man is a great woman, and there's two people that aren't on this stage that should always be on this fucking stage, and that's Michelle Price Brocious and Dawn Burney. They give up our time. They always give up our time. They never give us any shit for it. They're always supportive of it, and I really, really, really appreciate the hell out of both of them. Thank you.
Now, I do have one question for someone here, and Ron kind of alluded to it. He mentioned that Rip, the guy with the nails, was the first scene. Well, obviously that wasn't the first scene in the movie. So, Rip, can you tell us what he meant?
Yeah, we filmed that well before any of the other stuff got filmed, so.
2020.
Yeah, it was a long while before, so this was the first time I've seen it. I thought it turned out great, by the way, Scott. Very good job. So yeah, it was a little different. I remember from the 48, you saw that it was kind of a little bit more toned down, and then Ron, he called me, he's like, hey, I have an idea. So that's either going to turn out really, really bad or really, really good when you hear that from Ron, anybody who's worked with him. So he's like, you're going to put this thing on your head with all these nails in it. Obviously, it turned out really well. Pretty cool. So yeah, it was different. I felt disconnected. I kept telling Scott, I feel disconnected from the film, but it came together very nicely. You couldn't even tell that it was filmed with such a big gap between it. So very well done.
Thank you.
I'm on my knees here, not the first time. What's your question?
Hey Scott, good work, everybody.
Thank you.
Can you tell us, if you can remember it, what the timeline of making this actual production was? How many days roughly, and how you broke it, and when you started to the end?
So a couple years ago, I made this film called Vile. It was also a feature-length film, and how I shot that was I shot it every other weekend. And the reason is, we're trying to kind of pad it out for COVID. If anyone, we had a COVID outbreak or whatever, at least we would know in 2 weeks that people had gotten sick. So with this, we're kind of through the bulk of the pandemic, kind of. So we were able to shoot basically once a weekend. And I didn't want to do 2 days. I didn't want to do 3 days, as I helped another one of my very good friends, Tyler Thomas, shoot Leviticus. And, there were some weekends that he shot maybe like 3 days straight in a row. And I just saw how grueling that was for me and just to everyone else. And I was like, well, trying to learn lessons and how to just be better and just not just burn people out, because this was a challenging film to do. So we did 1 day, basically a week for, I think it was maybe 2.5 months, and just did a shit ton of stuff in that 1 day. But I don't think any days were over 10 hours, but we moved at a good clip, real good clip.
How many total production days?
How many total production days? All of them.
All of them.
I want to say that, so I have whenever I do a shoot, I would have a folder that just contained that day. So when I look at the days, some of the days where I was with Grace is somewhere here.
Right here.
Oh. so I think Grace is a really great example. So I'm going to give her and just kind of tell us what your experience was like when we were shooting this.
So yeah, I think we started in the wintertime. And
I was like, hey, it snowed.
Yeah, Lily, let's go, Allison. It looks different.
So we gotta shoot right today.
And I like actually slipped on the snow. Yeah, it was a great experience for me. I really thank you, Scott, for taking a chance on me. This is my first lead role in the Cleveland scene, feature film, so it's pretty awesome. You gave me the freedom to play and grow, and yeah, I can't thank you enough.
But you had long days, you had short days, we had days that I would say, hey, can you shoot tomorrow?
And I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's make a movie.
But really, so much of the film, like a lot of the days, maybe 17 days, but I would do maybe a shoot with her that was maybe an hour. So like a lot of if you look at this, is very chapteral. If I have a scene that is just like her, I was the entire crew that day. I was the sound guy, I was the lighting guy, I was the video guy, I was kind of like the hack director guy. But each shoot was completely different. Then maybe the next day I would have a 10-hour shoot. So, really I never tried to do 2 days in a row. That was my objective. But it was probably really about 14 days.
I got something to add to that too.
Yep.
So Scott asked me, okay, when are you available? Because I know you're going on vacation. And I'm like, I'm not available this week. It was like 10 days. And then a month went by, and I'm like, okay, so when do you need me to do makeup? He's like, well, this Sunday and this Sunday. I'm like, I'm not here either of those Sundays. So he had to cram all the makeup into one day for me.
As a director, I make things easy for my cast and crew. Yes, sir?
All right, first, I would just like to say that I thought the photographer chapter was very beautifully shot.
Thank you.
My question is, what was your motivation for using Croatian in the film and like a Croatian character?
So if you remember Chains of Burden, one of the things I was trying to do is I was having the person who's like, this guy hasn't even said anything yet. And that was kind of like a seed. And then I met up with Fred Munaki, and I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong. And we started talking, and I was like, I could do an accent. And I was like, man, an accent. And I'm like, that would explain a lot why he's silent. And then I decided I wanted to tell each chapter to be a different style of film. And so that was the art house chapter, and really a lot of it was just kind of collaboration with the man.
Thank you, Scott. Actually, when he approached me, he said, we're going to do something different, extraordinary, and we're not going to have too many lines. And so we were in a bar that was a casting spot, and he said, you just take a look at the script and tell me what you think about it. And I was looking at the script, and kind of reminded me of stuff that I really love about cinema, about some European art house stuff. And I immediately said, yes, I'll do it. And it was actually a really, really cool experience. 2-3 days we shot, only two of us at the lake there. It was very, very excellent experience. And even the camera that I was actually carrying, the prop camera, is actually from my old country. It came a long time ago. My dad brought it here. So I said, let's use this because it's very authentic. And so everything in that scene is actually very, very, not just artsy and cinematic, but also remind me of stuff that I experienced in this country in the 90s, for example, when I was shooting pictures down there on the lake.
And I want to give a shout out to my dog Regan, who played the little dog that had to be put down. Scott needed a dog, and I said, he's the most chill dog you'll ever meet. And we didn't have to drum him, we didn't have to do anything. We just set him up there, and Gappy starts petting him, and he just lays there, and he closes his eyes, and he's just spoiled rotten. So he enjoyed the shoot. He's a natural.
Well, the funny thing is, so we're doing the shot, and I was like, I'm just going to get the best I can with the dog. I've never shot with the dog before. And then Seamus is like, Scott, the dog is falling asleep. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I told the camera, trying to be calm, and then Gaffy's just petting the dog, and I'm just like, the dog's closing his eyes. I'm like, holy shit. So thank you, Reagan.
Who else has a question? Anybody else have a question? Yes, I'll come up here. Hold on. God damn it.
Getting his steps in. Bloody worst of it.
I'm trying. All right.
For anyone who missed and wasn't able to make it tonight, are you going to share this film anywhere else?
If a human reaches out to me that's here tonight or that's in the community and says, I want to see this film, I will send them a YouTube link and they will see it. I am going to be doing some tweaks to this film. We were racing right up to the minute to get this shown, so there's a couple of things that I think we want to tweak. But maybe in a week or so, I'll probably upload a new version. So maybe if I give you the link and you don't get to it right away, the link might stop working. But just reach out to me and you'll have a link that will work. This is your film if you've been in it. Every person here, I don't care if you were on a bus that you were barely seen, if you were in a police car that was blurry in the background, every human that was part of this, that supported me, they deserve to see this.
What if Reagan wants it?
Reagan will be asleep. Reagan will be asleep.
He's not a Republican.
Not a Republican there. It's indifferent.
Any other questions? Any at all?
Anyone ready to go next door and celebrate?
We got one down here. Hold on.
One more. Let's do one more.
Go ahead, Miss.
So this is about storyline with the photographer. He was touching the dead animals on the beach, and then when he went home, he seemed to kind of touch her in the same way. I took that as foreshadowing that she was going to die or was dead. Am I reaching?
Take credit for it, Scott.
So what I wanted to tell with the story of the photographer is that this is a person that loves life, that appreciates life, that death is a horrible, terrible thing to him. And so many of the other chapters, death is kind of indifferent, or maybe they're just so narcissistic they don't really care if someone dies. But I wanted his chapter to be about a person that, even little things, the smallest animals, their life and death matter. And he's not stalking her as a sexual device. He's stalking her because she's a beautiful subject and he appreciates the life that she is. And it's just too much. It's just a little bit too far. So is there a little bit of foreshadowing? Yes, but I think the foreshadowing is he's gone too far and eventually he'll have to pay for that.
These were all fantastic questions. I work at a daycare where one day a 5-year-old decided to ask me, Mr. Kyle, how come girls don't got nuts?
It's a good question.
It is. I said, ask your father. So, first off, I just want to say before I do my send-off, this is my first ever hosting gig. So I thank everybody for supporting me. I thank Scott for giving me a chance and believing in me. I will happily host anything else, except for children's parties. Nope. I do want to say this is a phenomenal movie. Everybody acted their ass off. Everybody wrote their ass off. Everybody asked their ass off. So please.
A lot of asses.
Give a huge round of applause to these fine fellows. Thank you very kindly for letting me be your guide tonight. Any other words, Scott?
Well, I hope some of you don't race to your car. I hope to see some of you maybe next door and sharing a pint. Besides that, I'm not sure where they're going to go.
Don't get fucking drunk.
That's true. Where should they go, Kyle?
Where should you go? Shit. You should go Emerald Isle next door. If you go to the Chuck E. Cheese, you hit too far, but I hope you.
And everybody buy Scott a beer.
Okay, everyone buys Scott a beer, but
Everybody.
I only want 1 or 2 beers.
Make sure you spike it.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being here. Have a great week. Oh, yes. Before everyone gets up the stage.
Sure. Some butts might have been hurt, but he took his time and he casted it properly. He really did. No, I was happy with it.
Yeah, there we are. Yes, the crew.
Beautiful. That's where I love BWTV's
But it's basically what I was talking about. It's a mix of Spring Breakers.
It was a photo.
And he took Spring Breakers and he mixed it with.
This was on like a discount on my way out of Burlington. And then Josh Miller and I went shopping
What final words do you have about tonight?
I survived it. It's been 3 years imagining what this moment will be like, and it's different.
Well, I'm proud of you, sir.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheer.
It's time.